Proper customer interaction management is essential to a healthy business. And by healthy, I mean a business that has great profit margins and very low headaches. This video will give you all the knowledge you need to make significant and positive changes to your business and reap the rewards. Rewards like increased profits and customer satisfaction, all while decreasing headaches and operating costs. So let's get to it. Before we start, let's quickly define customer interaction management. It is the systematic handling and orchestration of all customer interactions across multiple channels to ensure a consistent, efficient, and personalized customer experience. Now that sounds like a mouthful, so let's break down what this means in real life. Most businesses simply let customer interaction happen. This puts them in a reactionary position, always chasing and fixing stuff. Now imagine a post office where every employee would handle and sort mail in any way they wanted. It would be absolute chaos. Most mail would probably not even get delivered. Managing customer interactions means that you plan and execute pipelines which control and handle those interactions. This results in a smooth operation that gets better results for less effort. Now this brings us to the golden rule of proper customer interaction management. Log everything properly. Proper customer interaction management works on data. The better the data, the better we can guide our actions and get more results. So let's take an example. Here, we'll be using the free GoData Hub communication management solution, link in the description. You can use anything, but make sure it allows you to follow along. Let's say a client calls in. In this case, it's land and development. They want a quote for a new project. We go to the communication section and enter a new customer interaction record for land and development. There are at least 5 basic things we should enter in this customer interaction record for it to be useful. 1. The customer. While this is pretty obvious, we should always put in the person we spoke with. For example, if we're dealing with a company, we might want to put in that we spoke to Fred. Even if the client is a person, we may speak to their husband or wife. We should mention that in the communications log. In GoData Hub, after selecting the customer, we can actually enter the name of the person we spoke with. 2. Date and time. This is obvious, but what might not be so obvious is that it should be accurate to the minute. Simply putting April 5th isn't good. You want the time down to the minute, so if there's an issue, you can backtrack it. Now imagine that your customer calls in and says they have received your product, but it wasn't updated as they requested when they called in. If you log the time, then you can pull up the communications record and tell your client that they called in at 1:30 p.m. to request a change, but our shipments already went out at 1 p.m. on that day. By entering the exact time and date of the communication, you can quickly have an overview of the problems. GoData Hub automatically inserts the current time and date when you're creating a new customer interaction record. 3. Type. How did the client interact with you? Was it by email, phone, maybe an in-office visit? Whatever it is, make sure you log it. In GoData Hub, we select type, in this case, let's say a phone call, and the direction, which can be in or out. The direction is important because you need to know who initiated the interaction. Did the client email you, or did you email the client? In this case, the client called us, so we select in because the call was coming into the office. 4. Job or task. Mark clearly what job or task this is in regards to. This is especially important for clients that have multiple jobs or tasks with your company. GoData Hub makes this easy by letting you link the job dynamically in the message box. 5. Resolution. What happened in the end? Every single client interaction has a purpose. Specify how you left things off with the client. Did you tell the client that they would get a call back? Were you able to solve the issue? Whatever it is, make sure you note it down. 6. Tone. You might not think it, but tone is an important one. Here is where we note the tone of the conversation. Was the client happy, angry, upset? It might not seem useful, but it's actually very important. The tone of the conversation will let you know how to handle the next interaction with the client. Not knowing the tone of the last conversation can be like walking into a minefield the next time you speak to this client. GoData Hub's free customer interaction management solution can help with all of the above. If you're interested, you can check out the link. Now let's go over some major interaction scenarios and responses, questions, and general concerns. This is where the customer reaches out in order to find answers. Taking the time to give proper answers and to make sure that the customer understands those answers is crucial. Take the time to address the underlying concerns. Now, for example, if your product or service requires a payment by check or wire transfer and the customer asks, "Can I pay by credit card?" it might simply be because a credit card is a better method of payment for that customer. But it could also be that they want the protection of a credit card as opposed to a check or a bank transfer. In that case, you might want to assure the client of the underlying reason of their request. You can say something like, "We take wires and checks, but we also offer a money-back guarantee, which we give in writing. That way, you can be sure that if this isn't a good fit for you, you can get a full refund up to 30 days after the payment." So what we did there is not only clarify the initial part, but also address the client's underlying question. Always look at the motive of the question, not only the question itself. In our example, it's true that the customer could have simply wanted to pay by credit card, but it's highly probable when looking at the situation that you requested a check or wire transfer that they might be hesitant to pay via those methods unless they have assurances that they will receive their money back if there are problems. Next, we have customer complaints. Complaints are never fun to deal with, but if you follow the methods we've just discussed, logging everything meticulously, they will be much easier to handle. Now here is an example which shows the power of proper logging. Let's say Jason from Merck & Sons called in and complained that we didn't send out the product that they requested and paid for. We go to the communication section in GoDataHub and pull up the whole history with the company Merck & Sons. Wow, now that's a lot of records, but at least we have a full history of the interactions with this client. Jason said he spoke to Lori on April 15th and ordered a new product. We quickly filter out all the communications by users so we can get only the interactions between Lori from our office and Jason from Merck & Sons. We see that Lori took the order on April 15th, as Jason stated, but we also see that Jason said that they needed some customization on the product. Lori then reached out to Jason on April 19th at 10:37 a.m. by email to ask for the customization details. She didn't get a response, so she also called Merck & Sons and spoke to Mike on April 25th at 1:30 p.m. again to ask for the customization details. We informed Jason that unfortunately we did not receive the customization details. We can send the order as is, or we can wait for the customization details. Do you see what we did there? We showed the client that we're on top of the situation and we put the ball in the client's court. Now let's move to customer support. This is where the customer needs help with their product or service. Always make sure that your agents are well equipped to provide support. This is easily done by making sure that the documentation section of the free GoDataHub Customer Interaction Manager solution is filled up properly. Here, you can put information on all the possible problems and how to deal with them. Make sure to organize it and give it descriptive titles and tags, which can be researched later. You can include graphics and videos which can help your agent understand better so they can help the client. Your documentation section can be like your secret weapon that allows your agent to be loved by your customer. Now you remember how you felt when you talked to a clueless agent and how frustrated you got? Proper documentation can help change all that and allow agents to provide better and faster solutions for your customers. In part 2 of this Customer Interaction Management series, we'll look at all the different types of interactions, from phone to email to mail and more. We'll examine how each one differs and how to handle each interaction medium so you can get great results.